You see, Vedanta means, if like, conclusion of the Vedas. And how did this particular phenomena start? It started with Sankhya Darshan, where the first time one individual said, we are not the body, we are more than the body, the mind, the intellect, the ego, we are much more. That's the beginning of real Hinduism, spirituality. Before that, it was materialistic. So we start Sankhya Darshan. Then it was developed further by Patanjali with the yoga philosophy, which says, yes, you are something special here, the observer and the observed world, Purusha and Prakriti. Then he added one more category, saying there's something else which can call super personality. So he introduced the idea of Ishwar or God in the Yoga Sutras. Then we come to the Vedanta philosophy. Now, Vedanta philosophy is a very unusual feature because it in a way was revived by Adi Shankara, because Hinduism had gone into this crass materialistic stage just after Buddha. After a few hundred years after Buddha, India had gone into a crass materialistic stage. And the only way it can be rescued was by focusing on the deepest vision that Hindus can come up with. And this is what happened about 1200 years ago with Adi Shankara. So Adi Shankara, a young man from South India, Kerala, was spiritually enlightened. That's the first requirement. You can't do this work unless you're enlightened. But he had tremendous sharp intellect. So just using his intellect, he went all over India and in a way removed this crass materialistic vision that was kind of promoted all over India. Just one young man, I should say, and revived Hinduism with Advaita Vedanta. Now, Advaita Vedanta, people say, is not any different from Buddhism, because it doesn't require a God. It says you are essentially something special and more than matter. And this Advaita Vedanta really won the hearts and minds of India. And that is why India revived, Adi Shankara revived Hinduism in India. Adi Shankara is the master. And Advaita Vedanta, I tell you, philosophically is a very solid system. It sits with quantum physics, it sits with everything you can think of in modern science. So Advaita Vedanta is a solid foundation to Hinduism. But the problem is this, Advaita Vedanta talks of Nirgun Nirakar Brahman. Somebody just asked about that. Now this is a tricky chap to capture. You can say Sat Chit Anand or Asti Bhati Priya, but how do you handle it? How do you grab it? Impossible. So we see this, we have this another great master, Ramanujacharya. I tremendous love this man because he's a pragmatic person. He says, okay, this is Nirgun Nirakar, it's okay. We require to polarize our mind. We need to require focusing. So he said, let's focus on Vishnu. And he started Vishishta Advaita, means qualified non-dualism. And this is how, if you like, the second version of Vedanta. So first was very highly, even now, if I want to take on philosophy challenges, I can't use Vishishta Advaita. I have to use Advaita, and I win. But then if you want an ordinary person to relate to spirituality, not just do philosophy challenges, but actually relate to it, better to talk on Vishishta Advaita. Think of ultimate reality as a polarized super personality and link up with that person, and then you got some kind of handle on this thing called Brahman. So this is the Vishishta Advaita. So this is up to here I have no difficulty. Advaita is the deeper philosophic vision. Vishishta Advaita is, if you like, a pragmatic way of becoming spiritual for ordinary human being. We read this all ordinary. I, for example, cannot live without my mentor Ramakrishna. Oh, Ramakrishna, see, I'm stuck. So we require some personality to polarize our idea of spirituality. But then there was a third version, which is called Advaita Vedanta, which I cannot relate to Madhvacharya. That isn't very simple. He said some human beings are andhatma, means they will never get enlightened. They're permanently, negative. And these kind of words I don't like because it flies in the face of Advaita Vedanta, which is essentially every living thing, the whole of this creation, nothing but expression of the divine. Brahman manifesting as creation and as human beings. So nobody can be andhatma. So that's why I move away from Madhvacharya. Yeah.
Free e-learning course in Hinduism. To register, please visit www.hindu-academy.com.
Talks on Hinduism. Sponsored by People Care. Encouraging caring for the elderly in their own homes. For more information, please visit peoplecare.com.